Chapter 206. The moment the duel officially began, the entire arena erupted with excitement. Thousands of spectators leaned forward simultaneously, while countless eyes locked onto the two young men standing opposite one another. One represented the powerful Magistrate manor, the other represented the rising Clark family. More importantly, hidden beneath those identities stood two people from the real world, who had finally recognized each other. Neither side intended to hold back. Peter moved first. The gifted weapon presented by the Magistrate flashed into existence. It was a silver spear engraved with flowing runes that immediately drew gasps from the audience. Spiritual energy flowed through the weapon like liquid lightning. The surrounding air seemed to tremble from its presence alone. Several experts immediately recognized its value. They whispered, "A spirit rune spear. The Magistrate actually gave him that treasure? That weapon alone can increase combat power by 30%. The Magistrate smiled proudly. Across the arena, Tony merely cracked his knuckles. He had no weapon, no armor, and no treasure. He had only his fists. Peter laughed. "Still fighting with your hands?" Tony grinned. "Still hiding behind your father's gifts?" The spear exploded forward. The attack arrived like a silver dragon tearing through the sky. Tony stepped sideways. The spear tip missed his neck by less than an inch. The spectators gasped. Before Peter could withdraw the weapon, Tony launched his counterattack. Tyrant Dragon Fist. The declaration echoed throughout the arena. "First form," he declared, and his body suddenly accelerated. Silent Dragon Fist. The punch arrived without warning, without sound, and without wasted movement. Peter's eyes widened. The spear instantly shifted into a defensive position. Boom. The collision shook the arena floor. Peter slid backward, and Tony slid backward. The crowd immediately exploded. It was equal. The first exchange ended equally. Several Clark family elders nearly stood from their seats. The Magistrate's expression became serious. Peter narrowed his eyes while Tony smiled. Both launched forward simultaneously. The arena instantly transformed into a battlefield. The silver spear danced like a raging storm, while Tony's fists moved like dragons escaping their chains. Every collision produced explosive sounds that echoed throughout the combat hall. Boom, boom, boom. Stone shattered, and dust erupted. Shockwaves spread across the arena. Many spectators could barely follow the battle. The old monk sitting among the audience slowly nodded. Interesting, very interesting. The Tony he remembered had become stronger, much stronger. Meanwhile, Elsa watched with cold eyes. The more powerful Tony appeared, the greater her desire to eliminate him became. Back inside the arena, Peter suddenly rotated the spear and unleashed a rain of attacks. Silver streaks filled the air. The spectators couldn't even count the strikes. Tony answered with another technique. Tyrant Dragon Fist. Second form. Coiling Dragon Punch. Boom. The fist smashed directly against the spear shaft. Peter's weapon bent visibly. The force traveled through the metal and reached his hands. Peter immediately felt pain. His expression changed. The crowd roared. The Clark family patriarch slammed his chair. Good. The old man's eyes shone. For the first time, he genuinely believed his grandson could win. Unfortunately, Peter hadn't revealed everything. The Magistrate smiled. His son finally became serious. The silver spear suddenly emitted a brilliant light. Runes awakened. The weapon's aura doubled instantly. Peter's speed increased, his attacks increased, and his pressure increased. Boom, boom, boom. The spear continuously forced Tony backward. The spectators slowly noticed the change. Peter was gaining control. The spear's advantages became increasingly obvious. Every clash favored the weapon user. Every exchange drained Tony further. The Clark family patriarch gradually frowned. His excitement disappeared. Then regret appeared. The old man slapped his forehead and shouted, "Damn it." Several elders looked confused. The patriarch gritted his teeth. "I should have prepared a better weapon." The realization struck everyone. Tony was fighting barehanded. Peter was using one of the best weapons available to the younger generation. The difference was enormous. Meanwhile, Peter continued increasing the pressure. The spear became a silver storm. Tony's clothes suffered cuts, and his arms suffered wounds. Several spectators began shaking their heads. The battle is over. Without a weapon he cannot continue. Peter's advantage is too large. Skylar clenched her fists, and Lily's expression became nervous. Even the old monk frowned slightly. The situation looked dangerous. Peter noticed it too. His confidence surged. "You've always been lucky, Tony." The spear descended again. Boom. Tony blocked. Another strike followed. Boom. Tony retreated. A third strike. Boom. The arena floor cracked beneath Tony's feet. The spectators believed victory was approaching. Only Tony remained calm, very calm. Peter sensed something strange. Then Tony smiled, the exact smile Peter hated most. "What are you smiling at?" Tony answered casually. "I finally finished warming up." Peter's face darkened. The crowd became confused. Warming up? What nonsense was this? Then Tony moved. Or perhaps, 5 Tonys moved. The entire arena froze. 1 Tony became 2, 2 became 3, and 3 became 5. 5 identical figures suddenly surrounded Peter from different directions. The spectators stood up, the experts stood up, and even the patriarch stood up. Nobody recognized the technique. Nobody understood what they were seeing. The 5 figures moved simultaneously, laughed simultaneously, and attacked simultaneously. Peter's confidence shattered instantly. What? His spear swept left, but there was nothing. He attacked right, but there was nothing. He turned behind, but there was nothing. The arena descended into chaos. What technique is that? Illusion? No. Movement technique? Impossible. Even the magistrate stood from his seat. His eyes widened. He had never seen such a movement art before. Elsa's eyes narrowed. The spectators screamed. The arena had transformed completely. 5 Tonys surrounded Peter. There were 5 shadows, 5 grinning faces, and 5 identical killers. Peter swung his spear wildly, but nothing connected and nothing worked. Every attack struck an afterimage. The crowd watched in complete disbelief as the proud magistrate's son spun like a fool trying to identify the real target. Tony's voice echoed from every direction. Looking for me? Peter turned, but there was nothing. Over here. Peter attacked, but there was nothing. Too slow. Peter roared in frustration. The crowd erupted into laughter. For the first time in the duel, Peter looked ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Then suddenly, all 5 figures stopped. In the next instance, 5 shadows moved together. Their fists ignited with crimson energy. A terrifying pressure spread throughout the arena. The spectators felt their hearts tremble. Peter's instinct screamed danger, real danger. Father, he shouted for help directly. Tony's voice echoed throughout the combat hall. Tyrant Dragon Fist. 5th form. The crimson energy intensified. Fire Dragon Heart Punch. All 5 figures charged simultaneously. Peter's face turned pale. He couldn't identify the real one. He couldn't escape. The punch was coming. The finishing blow was coming. The Death Angel was ready with her sickle to take his soul away. Then suddenly, a terrifying aura descended from above. The entire arena froze. The pressure alone shattered the stone. A figure appeared between both combatants. The Magistrate. To be continued. Hope you liked today's video. Join the community by subscribing and dropping a like. I'll be back with another update as soon as possible. See you then.